Yes, it is a bit frustrating to spend a significant amount of time dismantling a bunch of completely fabricated, racist lies and conspiracy theories cooked up by extremely right-wing weirdos and then parroted by conservative talking heads and members of our own government. But that's what we have to do once again, because on Monday of this week, one of the most insane, made-up stories became the biggest news story online because vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance posted about it as if it were real, which led to a tidal wave of posts and memes from all of the usual suspects, including numerous elected officials. No, there is not a wave of Haitian immigrants stealing and eating people's cats.
But it'd be pretty crazy if they were, right?
But they didn't.
But like, if they were, like that would be, the fact that I believed it says a lot about society and the way things are. Well, if that's not real, I'll tell you one thing that is real. J.D. Vance wears a shirt in the pool.
That's right.
What's up with that? But yeah, if the whole cat and eating thing sounds like an overtly racist conspiracy, yeah, it is. Absolutely. But it's a story that has absolutely dominated conservative media over the past day or so, despite being a completely made-up story that originated from, we shit you not, someone who posted a story on Facebook that they'd heard from a neighbor's daughter's friend.
Yeah. There's simply no proof. It's bullshit. And even though it's completely fabricated, every habitually online conservative posted about it as if it were not only real, but an epidemic that casts every person of Haitian descent as an illegal immigrant who feasts on people's pets. It's a disgusting lie that is made worse by people in power who are amplifying it as if it's something everyone in the country should be absolutely terrified about. Even though, as this story was spreading, there was still an active manhunt for an armed and dangerous shooter in Kentucky who was able to buy an AR-15 rifle and 1,000 rounds of ammunition the morning that he decided to shoot a bunch of people from a highway overpass.
What were you talking about? You talking about those Haitians eating ducks and cats? Was that what you were talking about?
Nor was I talking about the very real school shooting that happened last week during the first week of school. No, instead we're just making things up now.
So what the hell's going on here? How did this rumor start? Why is it being spread by conservatives, and why are they continuing to spread it through posts and memes, even though it has been debunked by local residents as well as the local police department? Well, to answer that question, it's because they're being fucking racist, and they're trying to further sow division between people by scaring them into thinking that somehow illegal immigrants, they're coming for your pets. Munch, munch. Really feels like this is an attempt to do the same fear-mongering that they've done in the past with the migrant caravans that always seem to pop up right around election time, except now they're going with, well, actually, migrant criminals are here right now, and they're currently hunting and or eating your pets.
Yeah.
Fluffy, Snowball, they're getting hunted and eaten. Now here's the backstory, though, from local outlet, the Springfield News-Sun.
A social media post originally from a Springfield Facebook group went viral nationally in recent days. The original poster did not cite first-hand knowledge of an incident. Instead, they claimed that their neighbor's daughter's friend had lost her cat and found it hanging from a branch at a Haitian neighbor's home being carved up to be eaten. The poster also claimed rangers and police told them that, quote, they have been doing it at Snyder Park too, with ducks and geese. And they add that the Springfield Police Division said Monday morning they have received no reports related to pets being stolen and eaten. Now, okay, there is one small shred of truth that started all of this. A 27-year-old woman named Alexis Farrell was recently charged with animal abuse for reportedly killing and eating a cat in a town nearly 200 miles away, which is absolutely horrific. But nowhere in the coverage or police reports does it indicate that this woman is a migrant or an immigrant, illegal or otherwise. In fact, people pulled her voter registration information showing that she's an American citizen who happens to be black and not a recent Haitian migrant. She's just a piece of shit who killed an animal and was arrested for it. Not that it really matters because it was instantly used to vilify all people of Haitian descent regardless of their status.
Anyways, when this story was posted by, god damn it, non-American, speaking of people who aren't from here, Ian Miles Chong, he's never stepped foot in this country, but he's a leading authority on all issues affecting the United States of America. But yeah, someone replied to him asking if maybe drugs were to blame. He replied, worse, Haitians.
Fucking racist.
That's you just being racist. Charlie Kirk replied to that, falsely adding, lots of reports of Haitians eating people's pets. Just out of thin air. But yeah, that's the kind of overt racism we're dealing with here. The story was taken, relocated to another town entirely, slapped with unsubstantiated claims about race and immigration status, and used to group an entire population of people into being animal abusers who feast on people's pets. Here's the Washington Post with more on the spread of this disinformation. Trump and his allies and his running mate are elevating false or unsubstantiated claims about immigrants injuring and eating pets and other animals. And of course, blaming the Biden administration and Trump's opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, for this thing that is not demonstrably happening.
This message was clipped and shared by a putative breaking news account on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. It was paired with a photo of a black man carrying a goose and walking down a street. In short order, the post was picked up by a number of prominent voices on the right, including Trump advisor Stephen Miller. From there, it metastasized, with people plucking pieces of information off the internet and attaching it to the original claim as though it was supporting evidence. They then add that one of the attachments used to back up the claim was video from a local community meeting where a local podcaster, who is also running for mayor, regurgitated the lie. And also add that one of the originators of this spread was the End Wokeness account, which is widely assumed to be run by alt-right provocateur Jack Prilosek. Now, eventually, this bullshit worked its way up from the social media sewers all the way to elected officials like Ted Cruz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and, as we mentioned, vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, who was recently photographed swimming with his shirt on.
Freak. Absolute freak. What are you doing? But yeah, a lot of these posts include, generative AI slop to drive home their non-existent arguments. Here's just a few of the examples. From the House Judiciary GOP account, protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio, with an AI image of Trump swimming and hugging a duck and a cat. Can he swim? Have we ever seen him swim?
He probably does with a shirt on. From Elon Musk, who posted an image of Bart and Lisa Simpson mourning their cat and adding, Ohio right now.
From Representative Gymnasium Jordan, who turned a blind eye to sexual assault allegations at The Ohio State University. When President Trump was in office, 1, the border was secure, and 2, illegal aliens weren't eating your pets.
Ted Cruz, who famously left his family's pet dog at home during a snowstorm while he escaped to Cancun, posted a bunch of laughing, crying emojis above an image of 2 cats that read, "Please vote for Trump so Haitian immigrants don't eat us."
Similarly,
that was a quote tweeted by the racism watchdog, which just kept barking and woofing the entire time.
Yeah, it's not enough.
They don't have enough character limits.
Yeah, you got to get that verified badge. But similarly, Cat Turd 2, a friend of Cat's, posted, "Hide your pets from Kamala," despite not that long ago killing his own pet dog because he backed over it in the driveway. Which, yeah, that's a terrible accident, but also glass houses, sir.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess we should also point out that conservatives are trying to somehow tie this entire story to Kamala Harris, because of course they are. But they're doing so under the guise that she's for open borders, despite Republicans killing an extremely strict border security bill so they could use it as fear-mongering.
Marjorie Taylor Greene hijacked some broadcast meeting about January 6th to say the following on camera.
Can we add in that there's Haitian illegal migrants taking over towns, eating people's pets, but yet there's not a government show of force against that? However, it is against these people that protested the election.
Well, they're not as dangerous.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I just wanted to interject that. Thank you.
And Ian Miles Chung also posted an AI image about the claims, this one saying that Springfield has one hope, and it's an image of Trump running away from 2 black men while holding 2 cats. And look, we just want to point out that of all people to claim as an animal lover, the idea that Trump would be some savior to any animal is absurd, because he famously hates animals.
Yeah, not a fan.
He was the first president in recent history to not have a pet while in the White House. He was attacked by a bald eagle, and his sons are despicable trophy hunters who pay for the thrill of shooting large animals and posing with their corpses.
And, you forget, he's got the morals of an alley cat.
Oh, yeah.
So he does have that going for him.
Still, the Trump campaign sent out an email amidst all of this that read, in part, "Migrants have reportedly been caught decapitating ducks and hunting geese and other livestock in public parks, and even kidnapping residents' pets, then eating them."
And Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, posted a video that has no relation to the story about people eating cats and added, "Months ago, I raised the issue of Haitian illegal immigrants draining social services and generally causing chaos all over Springfield, Ohio. Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country. Where is our border czar? So yeah, once again, attacking Kamala Harris.
But the clip that JD posted is very telling in regards to what's actually happening in Springfield, Ohio, which is that it was a dying town with a dwindling population that was revitalized by an influx of immigration, which is legal as people from Haiti flee the violence in their home country. And this has resulted in a net positive for the town, something that is even highlighted by their local government and Chamber of Commerce. The problem that he says is the town is facing a lack of housing because people are actually moving to work and live there, which, first of all, that's a problem in a lot of places. But that's because when you have an influx of people, they need a place to live.
Yeah.
These folks have moved there with legal status and are already rebuilding an economy that was on the downturn, bringing industry and jobs back to an area and they're just literally fulfilling their personal American dreams.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
This is literally a great example.
No dreams for you.
A great example of what this country was built on.
Yeah, well, but when I pictured it in my head, the people look a little bit different.
Yeah, so it's very infuriating. And the fact that elected officials, candidates, and Elon Musk are perpetuating this literal fake news is maddening because people will take it all at face value and spread the racist message, which can and does create violence against people who are literally just trying to live their lives.
It's not good. Also, we'd like to point out that the political party that's doing so much hand-wringing about this bullshit is the same one that just openly embraced and accepted an endorsement from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., offered him a position in a potential administration. They love RFK, even though he's had at least 3 recent stories involving the desecration of animal corpses that we know of.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Confirmed by him and his family members.
I was up in the North Sea. I was off the coast of Norway, and I saw this beautiful white whale swimming around, and well,
I just had to kill
it's
it.
a funny story. So yeah, just everyone, just please shut up. God damn it! One Facebook post led to all this, and no one spreading this shit is ever gonna admit that they were wrong. They were taken for a loop.
No, because this is it's having the exact result that they want.
Yeah, it's just wild. Like,
this is going to, by the way, the debate is tomorrow night, or tonight if you're watching this on Tuesday. This will probably be brought up. And that's why it's very suspicious that all of the sudden this fake story is being lifted up into everyone's fucking timelines
this one
and posts.
And the one out of Colorado about the apartment complex. A Venezuelan cartel has taken over an entire, and like all the facts on the ground are just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe gang members live there. It's a bad part of town, but like none of what everyone is claiming has happened, according to all of the authorities in the area. But yeah, it's interesting timing.
Manufacturing news as an argument for a debate.
It just seems like you or I or anyone watching could just literally intentionally write tell just a bunch of lies on Facebook if they were lies that were targeted at the exact prejudices of the MAGA cult, and that shit would be on Fox News within 6 hours. It's crazy.
Well, with that out of the way, let's quickly thank our sponsors and hopefully get back to some news that doesn't make us want to rip our eyeballs out. Oh, thank goodness. It's Henson Shaving here to help us all forget about Twitter for a second and focus on looking good. That's right, focus on yourselves, kings. Now, if you were born after 1970, there's a very good chance your first razor was a multi-blade razor. These razors have been the status quo for over half a century, but where has that gotten us?
Nowhere.
According to a recent study, 2/3 of men expect some irritation when they shave, and this next one is what really makes us upset. Over 2 billion plastic razors enter the landfill each year in the US alone.
This is why Henson Shaving wants to change the shaving industry. Not through gimmicks like subscriptions or moisturizing strips, but through groundbreaking research on the impact shaving has on your skin. When Henson looked at other razors, they noticed a consistent lack of blade support. Basically, that the blades have too much bend or flex. Think of anything else that you'd cut with a kitchen knife, scissors, etc. You would not want the blade you use to be moving, because you'd have less control. Henson's razors are designed to hold the blade, so there's less bend, less wobble. Henson makes their razors in their aerospace machine shop in Canada that also made parts for a Mars rover and the International Space Station. Henson's machinists are exceptional at manufacturing, and that level of precision is one of the big reasons their razor is so much gentler on your skin. They've made it so the blade extends only 0.0013 inches past the shave plane of the razor. That is less than the thickness of a human hair.
Plus, the Henson razor works with standard dual-edged blades that cost less than 10 cents each. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. The razor itself is made of aluminum, and there is no plastic. There's also no plastic in Henson's packaging. I've used the razor a bunch. It's great. I very much enjoy it. I like that it's a classic feel. I like that it looks nice on my sink. It really fills out the bathroom. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. So visit hensonshaving.com/itdaily to pick the razor for you and use our code ITDaily and you'll get 2 years worth of blades for free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That is 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/itdaily and use our code ITDaily.
And this episode is also sponsored by Ground News. Nowadays, it's easier than ever to follow the news, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting an objective look at what's actually going on in the world. That's especially true if you're mostly getting your news on social media, where we're all basically in our own algorithmic filter bubbles, seeing news that's potentially lacking in context, poorly sourced, or designed primarily to get clicks. Getting an accurate picture of the news landscape can seem impossible, but Ground News makes it easy.
Ground News was created by a former NASA engineer to empower readers to navigate our complex media landscape. It gathers related articles from more than 50,000 sources around the world in one place so you can compare how different outlets cover the same story. And you can see context about the news sources. Do they have a political bias? How reliable are their reporting practices? Who owns them? All backed by ratings from 3 independent news monitoring organizations. For any news story, you get to see basically all the coverage it's getting all in one place with a breakdown of how many sources are covering it and whether it's something that's being disproportionately covered by the left or the right.
For example, here we have a recent story about the emissions from those brutal wildfires that swept across Canada last year. And it's heavily covered by left-leaning outlets who talk about the massive amount of CO2 emissions that were released and how it affects the climate. The right-leaning sites covered this as a way to focus on the fact that trying to regulate emissions is questionable because fires, they also choke the atmosphere. Now, having bias and factuality ratings is great for making sure that you're getting the facts, but it's also great for getting a sense of what the less reputable news sources are saying, which is also important. They've even got a blind spot feed for news stories that you probably haven't heard anything about if you're only following news sources from one side of the political spectrum.
We obviously read a lot of news, so Ground News is the perfect sponsor for us because it helps us access different viewpoints, not just from across the political spectrum, but also around the world, and see discrepancies in how certain topics are covered or not covered at all. There's no perfect news source, but with Ground News, media literacy is easier than ever. Go to ground.news/internet today to give it a try. If you sign up through our link, you'll get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is what we use to get unlimited access to all features. We think Ground News is doing important work, and we hope that you'll check them out. All right, back to the news now, and it looks like there might be at least a little bit of retaliation from Russia regarding their exposed plot to financially support a bunch of right-wing influencers as they willingly spouted a bunch of Kremlin-approved talking points in order to sow division amongst Americans. Now, if for some reason you missed that whole story, we did do a deep dive into it last week, and we will link the video at the end of this one, or just go check our channel, look up most recent uploads. Anyways, there are still a few hundred more people that will eventually be unmasked, and I am sure they are sweating. But as of right now, it looks like Russia might have gone ahead and disabled, or at least heavily throttled access to the entire YouTube platform, at least for the time being. Here's the Washington Post with more.
Russians are losing access to YouTube, the last major Western social platform freely available in the country, cutting them off from information independent from the Kremlin and alarming internet freedom advocates, journalists, and opposition activists. Russia is increasingly cracking down on any alternative sources of information, especially online, and has been pushing its citizens away from foreign-based social media apps and toward locally developed ones over which it has tighter control, such as its video streaming alternative, what? RooTube? RooTube?
RooTube!
Oh my God.
What was the...
That's great though.
Their Facebook one is...
VK.
Yeah, but it's, I forget what the term is, but it's something like that, where it's just like, they just kind of like lifted a similar word. Like,
RooTube! In early August, Russian users who had grown used to playing cartoons on YouTube to distract their children or having meals with shows on in the background began reporting that the videos were not loading. By August 3rd, state media reported that the service had stopped playing high-resolution videos in almost all browsers running the desktop version in Russia.
YouTube is incredibly popular in Russia. According to Mediascope, a Russian media market research company, 95 million Russians, roughly 80% of the population, use the platform every month. It has long been the fourth most visited online platform in the country, after Google, Yandex, Russia's own search engine, and WhatsApp. Internet freedom experts say the platform's popularity and cultural prominence allowed it to keep operating much longer than other Western social media platforms that were banned shortly after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It is not clear why Russian authorities decided to take action against YouTube now, months after the sweeping bans of other social media outlets, but it could be a case of retaliation against owner Google for blocking some Russian channels on YouTube.
Yeah, they just found out about ElsaGate.
Oh, yeah. Well, they probably knew about that a lot, because some, or the rumors at the time were that they were coming from Russia.
No, a ton of them were.
Yeah.
And that Johnny, pretty sure that was a Russian.
Well, they add that in the months before YouTube speeds in Russia dropped, the platform banned more than 3,000 Russian channels linked to pro-invasion propagandists and state-controlled media, according to a recent report by Google's threat analysis group.
Okay, so this happened before any of this other stuff. Yeah. Before Tenet Media got unmasked.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Who else is compromised? Rhett and Link.
Phil
DeFranco.
There's some actual people that I think that are definitely tied to this, but I refuse to say anything until the names actually come out.
Russia has been paying Anthony Fantano to leave mid-reviews on certain albums.
Yeah.
Oh, but also on a quick, funny update to the whole Russian influence scandal involving Tenet Media, one of their hosts, Taylor Hanson, who was actively taking money from the Russians despite claiming to have been duped, also claimed that YouTube permanently banned his account after the DOJ report was made public. He posted a screenshot of what he claims was an email from YouTube that stated, "Taylor Hanson, we have removed your channel from YouTube," adding, "And I just got permanently banned from YouTube." Mm-hmm. Except, well, no, sir. Doesn't look as though you were banned from YouTube at all. In fact, if someone were to try to visit one of his uploaded videos, as reporter Stephen Monticelli did after he made the claim, it provides the following message. This video is no longer available because the uploader has closed their YouTube account. If a channel's banned, you get a different message than that.
Yeah, because when I was editing our Tenet Media video, they had, YouTube had removed the channel, and it specifically indicated that it had been banned for violations.
Yeah. Also, none of the other big names involved got banned by the platform.
Yeah, none of their personal channels got banned. Yeah.
You should have coordinated with your friends on this one. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like this guy just shut his own YouTube account down for sympathy. Mm-hmm. And if we had to guess, he did so in order to play the victim and claim he's being censored, but also to scrub any evidence of looking like a puppet for the Russian government. Two birds.
Yeah.
What a dork. What a loser.
Yeah. But folks, we are still in the middle of a heat wave, and our brains, they're melting from both the heat and the extremely bigoted story that conservatives are spreading about our Haitian population. So we're just gonna roll the TV in here really quick and show you a beautiful clip of a hideous woman begging people to like her. Here's Kimberly Guilfoyle doing her best Jeb Bush impersonation recently, while asking a room full of what you would assume would be supporters to just please fucking clap for her. Here you go.
Witness in the world his resilience. Americans from all walks of life have had enough of the Democrats' decline, and we are ready, we are willing, and we are able to spark a new era of American exceptionalism. You can clap for that. Run towards the brighter days ahead. Victory is in our sights. America's future is in our hands. America's destiny is in our control. And America's prosperity is in our hearts and souls. So my challenge to all of you, stay in the fight.
Ominous color choice for the event too, like they're intentionally trying to look evil. Lighting director understood the assignment, but
the thing with Kimberly Guilfoyle is like, she's such a minor character. Like, you really got to be in on the Trump lore to even like know who she is or like get excited about her at all. Like, she's a crazy person who happens to be dating one of Trump's sons.
Yeah.
What has she done? You think we're supposed to be fans of you just because you're dating the son of the guy we like? Come on.
You keep putting yourself in the shoes of Republicans without directly announcing it, and now it sounds like you're saying these things.
No, I believe everything I say. Every word that comes out of my mouth is sincere.
Uh-huh.
I will never apologize for being a Republican.
So anyways, Apple also had their thing today, and we would typically cover this on Tech News Day, but as a user of Apple products, the most underwhelming announcements, even compared to last year.
Technology's over.
Yeah.
I bet they put AI in a bunch of stuff, though.
They did do
Congratulations.
a bunch of AI. You can do your custom emojis now. I think the other big things are, your standard battery is better, screen refresh rate. There's a camera button now, but everything else is AI, which is very funny because the EU is not getting the AI stuff, at least for the time being.
They have laws. I'm getting closer and closer. Like, there already exist, like throwback sort of like basic phones that do nothing. Mm-hmm. Which like
dumb phones?
Yeah, like dumb phones, like that's like too far back for me. But like I wish someone would just invent a phone that has, it's got a camera, it's got a web browser, it's got a calculator, it's got an alarm clock and a flashlight, and you might be able to run a couple apps on it or not.
You could self-police
like
by not putting apps on your phone.
I know, but more and more they're like, you got to download the app, and I'm like, okay, I'll delete this afterward, and then I forget.
All right, Grandpa.
But
it's Tuesday. If you're watching this, it's Tuesday. The debate is tonight, and there's a lot of weird stuff in it. Like they're claiming that they're both gonna get muted when they're not talking. That typically sort of works sometimes, but I don't know. There's also like Trump parading around the fact that he's taller than Kamala Harris, and that he has made sure that she cannot wear lifts or use like an apple crate to increase her height. Even though they're standing across the stage from each other. Like, there's a bunch of weird shit. It's going to be a weird debate. And it's just going to be Trump talking.
Well, I would do that. And we're sitting down. I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about.
Anyways, that's it for today's video. Please make sure you like the video and make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment below, get a discussion going down there. And if you haven't already, we have 2 new videos for you to watch. We got the Russian paid influencers video, and we also have another Russia story. Russia. They might have assassinated a whale. Allegedly. Unless it was RFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting to the bottom of it.
We sure are. Check out those videos, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.